Hi, everyone. Felicia Pizzonia here, your host of the Heartcore Hustle Show. When you hustle from the heart, it's not hard because you're doing what spontaneously inspires you from within, which does not require outside motivation. So, this show today will be helping you with achieving that. And the show is brought to you by The Ultimate Publishing House. Get your book published and make your publishing dreams come true. What we also want to know is, or what we'd like to do is stay in the present moment. I know you may be multitasking, but give yourself the gift of time and presence. Take notes because we have two incredible guests coming up on the show, and I would highly advise to be present. Take copious notes and enjoy the journey. All we have is the present moment. So I would like to introduce our special guests today. Not only are they soon to be published authors working on a book called Push Through, and you could check out pushthroughbook.com. They're also incredible entrepreneurs or wealth advisors, if you will. So Carey Yukich, who is situated in Indiana, is actually the founder or co-founder of True Wealth Advising. And then we have Hawley on the show, who is the co-founder of Appreciation Financial, and also Wow Women in Women of Wealth. So as I mentioned, if you want to find out more about these ladies, check out pushthroughbook.com. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Hawley and Carey to the show. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, Felicia.
Thank you for having us. Hi, Felicia.
Thank you for joining us, ladies. So we're going to be covering a lot of phenomenal information. I'd like to start with you, Carey. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started off in finance and what do you love about it?
So I started in finance at a very difficult time, actually, in 2001. And I really hit a point in my life where I was trying to reevaluate what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I was already had a successful career in coaching and advertising and was just looking to make a bigger impact in people's lives. And so I did a lot of soul searching after the birth of my second daughter and actually read a book. And the book was Do What You Are. And it really dug deep into my strengths, areas that I had challenges with, and what I was passionate about. And that was teaching and coaching and then making an impact in people's lives. And so that led me to either being a teacher, being a counselor, or being a financial advisor. And I decided to take the leap and get into financial planning. And that was in 2001. And it's been quite a journey. I love it. And probably to answer your question, what I love the most is seeing the planning that we've done and the educated choices our clients make come to fruition and see them become their best self, as well as having peace of mind for them and the people they care about.
Very nice. Amazing, Carey. And Hawley, if you can share with us what got you into finance and what do you love about it?
Yeah, great. So I started in 2011 with Appreciation Financial, and I got here in a very interesting way. So I was running a volleyball club that I started during the recession of 2008, and it was a nonprofit. The volleyball club was a nonprofit, and it was not the best time for me to start a nonprofit. And so in 2011, I went out to Las Vegas, where Appreciation Financial is headquartered. And I just was going to put it all on black. Let's just see what happens. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be a terrible start for a financial person, don't you think? I went to a personal and professional leadership training company, and I went to a basic seminar that they were having, and I met the founder and CEO of Appreciation Financial, and he told me what they were doing. They were working in schools. They were helping educators with their retirement. And because I was running this volleyball club, I had a ton of resources and a lot of contacts in that market. And so I thought that Appreciation Financial might be the solution I was looking for with my volleyball club. Unfortunately, our volleyball club was a little too far gone by that time for me to recover, with Appreciation Financial being the solution. However, I had to look for what was next. And so it was a really great fit for me because of the market that we serve. We work with the educators, and I had, not only are my two best friends teachers, I also had run the middle school program and the high school program in our local community through the volleyball club. So it was really great for me to get involved with appreciation and the market that we serve at that time.
Amazing, amazing. And Hawley, tell us a little bit about WOW and why you decided to create this awesome organization for women.
Yeah, so Women of Wealth started as the women's initiative within Appreciation Financial. Me and two of the other female leaders, we weren't at the top level in the company, and there wasn't any women at the top level. So we really came together for women to really see what it's like to be in a leadership role, how to develop, how to become women of wealth. And so we really developed this space for women to get what they needed in this male-dominated industry that we're in. And since then, it's really transformed into a summit that really educates women on how to become women of wealth, how to get into the financial services industry if they're interested in that, and how to create a lifestyle that really does help them grow and accomplish their financial goals and to be successful in their own right, independent, and stand on their own financially. So Women of Wealth has really transformed into something that I'm really proud of, because we get to help women, which is what I'm passionate about, is helping women have financial freedom.
Phenomenal. And Hawley, since our show is syndicated worldwide, is Women of Wealth available for women all over the world or strictly the US?
I mean, any woman can plug into the summits that we host. We do share tips and traits about how to get plugged into an industry. So even if you are in a different country, we share tips and tricks on how to be successful financially, as well as how to become, partners with Appreciation Financial or other companies that we work with. So, if you're in a different country, I'm sure you have other companies, independent marketing organizations that are in your countries and that you'd be able to connect with, and we can certainly help you and point you in the right direction.
Fantastic. And, I must say I had the pleasure to work with both Hawley and Carey directly as their book publisher for pushthroughbook.com, which, by the way, you can pre-order a copy at any time, maybe buy a few copies and give a couple away to your good friends or family members. I mean, these ladies have a phenomenal story to share. And the subtitle of the book is The Ultimate Playbook to Success. So, Carey, being a former athlete as well, tell us a little bit about the parallel with finance and sports and how you applied that in the book.
Well, what's interesting is Hawley and I met at a summit for women in financial services. And so that's where this concept started. When we started sharing some of the commonality that we learned in sports, some of the lessons from discipline to just perseverance to resiliency and getting feedback in a variety of different ways. And as we started talking through this, we realized just how much those traits paralleled to the corporate world, especially in financial services. So as we brainstormed even more and more, Hawley said, we should write a book about this. And as we've dug deeper and deeper into it and shared some stories, that's one of the important parts in our book, is that we shared our stories, both Hawley and I, but we also have validation from very successful athletes, professional athlete Kelsey Plum, and Olympic gold medalist and women's national team coach Carey, but also some amazing CEOs. And our concepts resonate with all of them. And we talk through each of the chapters about more and more of those traits, from some that Hawley's already mentioned, leadership and being proactive. But we also give some guidance on how you can develop those skills, as we did with our club teams and as we did as young athletes, and that is to really hone those fundamental skills. And that's really what we hope our readers will take away from this book, as well as developing their own playbook for success, and helping them, do an assessment, dig deep and reflect, but then outline how they want to go from here.
Amazing, amazing. And we're just flowing here, Carey. So Hawley, if you'd like to add to that, please go ahead.
Well, I would just like to say that, we did get an opportunity to really interview some extremely successful CEOs. And I think that's what really solidified for me the concepts of everything that we worked on, being athletes, being coaches. And I mean, on my team at Appreciation Financial, I have about 110 people that I work with. And so, I'm using these strategies, team building and other strategies that we talk about in the book constantly to help grow them into successful business owners as well. So it really is great to get that validation from the CEOs and other business people that we work with. It was really a great journey just to be a part of the whole book writing process. I learned a lot about myself. Carey and I grew closer. We got to work with Felicia and her team, and it was just a real growth opportunity to really put your story down on paper and really see where those impactful stories happen. And the cool thing now is anytime somebody talks about like pushing through, I'm always like in the back of my head just going, oh, they said it again. Someone said it again, right? It happens every day. I hear somebody say, well, I just had to push through that, and I'm like, yes, I do. I know all about that.
Amazing.
It's a vibe, Felicia. I'm sorry to interject, but it's a vibe, a feeling, a momentum that we didn't even realize how much it was already out there in the universe. And in talking with even Salima Rockwell, who wrote our foreword, just the stories of different times in their lives where someone or something got them through an obstacle or a moment in their life. And from even teenagers, with Salima, it was even in college. Same with Kelsey Plum. It was like in college these moments happened, but they're catalysts for the success that they experience now. It was amazing as things have evolved, and I think it's building every day.
Amazing. Well, there's no doubt there's a parallel with the traits of the greats in sports and the traits of the greats in business. And that's truly beautiful. Why don't we expand, Carey and Hawley, on a little bit of the process and how you enjoyed working with the Ultimate Publishing House and the creation of Push Through and the Daily Push Journal. Just a little bit on that. Hawley?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so, you never know when you're going into something. Like, I have no experience in writing a book. I'm definitely not what I would say an expert in the English language. So it was really nice to have the guidance. It was great to have the project manager, to have the timelines laid out. And of course, our timelines with what's been going on have just been pushed out a little bit. But, everything that's laid out for you, you have like a coach. It's basically like having a coach to help you through the whole process. And so, like in every situation, you might question, and we might have questions about something. We had Felicia to go to get the answers, and other people on her team that would reach out and help us in the different areas. And then also with the ghost writing, we were able to do these interviews that really helped us expand on what it was that we wanted to talk about in each of these chapters. And then of course, Carey, you can talk a little bit about the editing process, because we did spend a lot of time on that as well.
Yeah, I would add to Hawley, the process has been really a journey. And throughout, from the very beginning, just taking our thoughts and these concepts and getting them organized and helping to put these ideas or concepts that we have had in our head, experienced, taught, heard from all different sources and putting them together, organized, as well as being very creative. There was a lot of times where through our meetings and discussions and really, the word I want to say is brainstorming, but it was more creating. We ended up creating things we didn't even think about when we started this journey. So it's very much evolved. It's been way more creative even than I thought, and that I think Hawley thought. And then to know that this process also is part of refining and making it even more powerful, getting the stories from the different folks we interviewed. And then the idea of the journal came up, and that actually really was reinforced by several of the people that we interviewed. Not only do they journal, but talking about having gratitude, and then, oh, by the way, what are you going to do about it? And making a commitment and making that in writing and then to others. And so that evolved even from the, really in the middle of that process. So it's been quite a journey creating and bloomed beyond what I even imagined when we started this.
Phenomenal. And to our hustlers that are listening, check out pushthroughbook.com, grab a copy of the Daily Push Journal. I know that the new vogue word is neuroplasticity, which simply means that you're tattooing or impressing upon the subconscious mind whatever it is that you write down, preferably with a pencil. And it could be a pen as well, if heaven forbid you can't find a pencil. But the key is that you have to write it down. And so grab yourself a copy of both. These women have been awesome. They followed their divine duty, if you will, to implement and create this awesome book and journal. So Hawley, tell us a little bit about how you balance being an awesome financial advisor, a businesswoman, entrepreneur, and a mother and a wife.
Well, it definitely is a balancing act. Typically I'm traveling maybe 1 week out of the month to go to our home office in Las Vegas, or maybe I have clients down in San Diego. I live in Orange County, California. I have a 19-year-old who's in the Navy out in Virginia, and I have a 7-year-old that's here with us in Orange County. And so my husband and I are really great at partnership. And I think that has been the key to my success, is having a strong partner, somebody who supports me. He supports me in everything that we do. He came into business with me about 3 years after I started my insurance business. And he was a successful contractor, and we sold his business, and we haven't looked back since. And so I think that has really led to our success. My success is being able to have somebody to lean on. He picks up the slack around the house as far as, he's a great dad. He's very involved with our son's school and everything that we do. We every Sunday night, we sit down and we go over our schedule for the week, and we really make sure that, if it's a week that I'm in town, that I'm even more involved. I was able to be in a position where I could take Fridays off to work in my son's classroom so I could stay engaged with him. There's certain things that I ask him about, like, what do you need from mom to feel like we're connected? And he'll be like, pick me up from school, or like, I need you to go to lunch with me this week, or something like that, to where he knows that I'm there for him and he can reach out to me at any time. As far as my business goes, I have a great team of leaders on my team. We meet every Tuesday morning, and they know their jobs and they do it very well. My challenge right now is growing some new leaders. So I'm always looking for new people who want to come into our business and be a part of the appreciation way. We're really like a family, but we've definitely grown to a point where we need more leaders on our team. And so that's really what I work on with my team. And so I have a support all the way around. So that's how I've been able to be successful. No one's successful on their own, even though we like to think that we can do it all ourselves, especially being women, like we don't need help. We definitely need to make sure we surround ourselves with a great team. And that's why when we chose to write a book, we went to Yukich so we could have a great team around us too. So
Awesome. Thank you. And you're so right, Hawley. You need that support and challenge. It's so beautiful. And Carey, tell us about yourself and how you balance business, family, and everything.
I'm gonna ditto what Hawley mentioned, and I've truly been blessed to have my husband as not only the best teammate I've ever had personally, but also at our company, True Wealth Advising Group. So, and our strengths really complement one another, and part of what we talk about in Push Through is just how important teamwork is. And that Hawley said it several times, teamwork. And it's not just in our professional lives, it's in our personal lives or the committees or organizations we're involved in. So that's a very important part, and it starts really with John, my husband, both at work and personally. Also, at our company at True Wealth, we have a phenomenal team. It's so fun and energetic to go to work and have some of these same strategies that worked on the court as well. And so I've really worked to surround myself with people who really have strengths in areas that complement my strengths. And then get out of their way and let them do what they're best at and empower them to learn some things through experience, as well as be a sounding board, a coach, and an accountability partner for them as well on the different committees I belong to, boards. And then with my two daughters, I have two daughters in college right now. And what's fantastic is independence is one of the very root values that I have. And I learned that not only through athletics, but just growing up, and fostering that independence in both of our daughters is really important, so that we're there to support one another but also empower to spread their own wings. And that's been a key to the balancing. And I think, Hawley, when you were speaking, I thought back to our interview with Sandra Yancey, and she talked about having conversations with people about what's important to you. And you even mentioned it with your son, how can I be there for you, and narrow it down to the things that are most impactful or most important to that person, and then focus on making those connections the best. Mm-hmm. And because of that, and because of that independence and then team, we're all independent but have support for one another. So that's been a key in my personal and professional life, as well as the fostered with the companies and the organizations that I belong to and am committed to.
Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. And both you ladies have incredible energy and incredible vibes, right? It's the law of vibration. You can't fake the vibe. It's the primary law in the 7 universal laws. Secondary is the law of attraction. And I must say and commend you ladies that, in the middle of working on the book together, Push Through, and the Daily Push, we had this, we won't mention the words, but we had a world shift, if you will, and we have uncertain times. But what was awesome is we were all on the same vibe with our blinders on, and our economy's thriving, and we continue to just flourish. So I wanted to thank you ladies for that and commend you for that, for being consistently amazing souls, amazing humans. So let's talk a little bit about Hawley. Let's mention, what is one of your favorite chapters? I know it's hard to choose in Push Through, and how do you apply that in your life as a former athlete and current businesswoman?
Well, I think there's really 2 chapters that I feel most passionate about. And the first one is when we talk about being courageous and confident. I think that they go hand in hand with my absolute favorite chapter, which is talking about women being aggressive, being assertive, and being there to stand up for themselves. And so in our chapter where we're discussing this, it really made me reflect back on all my years in business. Because prior to the volleyball club, I was in the mortgage industry for many years. And before that, I was in corporate America working for a software company. So most of the industries that I've been involved in have been male dominated industries. And so in this chapter, we talk about a cheer that we teach young girls in sports. It's about being aggressive. Be aggressive, be aggressive, and then you spell out the word aggressive and you cheer it on the sideline. And you know, I have a 7-year-old son, and I started playing softball a little bit younger than he is now. And I remember learning these cheers about being aggressive and getting dirty and like all these things that, you know, aren't typically taught to girls. However, they're so useful when you get to be in the business world. And I know that the ladies that are on my team that are athletes and that do have that ability to stand up for themselves, to be aggressive, to get in there and really be competitive. I have women on my team that didn't play sports, and they're like, I hate when we do these contests. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. Where I love the contest, and I'm always striving to win whatever the shiny thing is that they're giving away. And I think that that's one of the reasons why, you know, being an athlete and being able to translate that over to your business world, especially for women, is really important because of all the different qualities that you learn, especially playing like at a high level, like a college level that Carey and I played at. Not only do you learn to be aggressive, be competitive, be assertive, independent, stand up for yourself, compete against whoever might be playing in that same position. These are all things that we talk about in this chapter. It's like, it really translates very nicely, especially with some of the committees and groups and boards that I belong to. I'm on the board for women in insurance and financial services. And for me, I'm really passionate about women realizing their potential and women really being able to take a stand for themselves and stand up in these male dominated industries, because in a lot of ways, women have even more to offer, especially with the transfer of wealth happening over the next, you know, decade. More women are going to have more money to manage, and women like to work with women, we've found. And so it really is something to that we are able to put together in this chapter to really address those issues, you know, of being seen as being offensive or put off or aggressive or, you know, unapproachable or mean or any of these words that we've been called. And those are the mild ones. Those aren't the explicit ones that we've been called over the years. However, it is something to really dive into and say, you know, I mean, I know guys in my company and other places that I've worked that come off as being a jerk. What's the difference whether you're a woman or a man? It doesn't matter. You know, it's all about what kind of leader are you? How can you be successful? And if you need to step into being aggressive in a situation, can you do it in a way that is going to leave the other person in a great position, you know, or you're standing up for a group of people. So yeah, kind of can go on a soapbox with that one. So
Agreed. It's all in the delivery, and we're truly souls having a human experience, and we have that male-female energy. Carey, tell us about your favorite chapter and how you implement that and use that in your life.
So, you know, like you said, Felicia, all of the chapters have a very special place to both of us, and they really build on one another. And it was interesting as we went through the outline and the interviews and the discussion and, you know, discovery process of bloomingness, you could feel the momentum. And when we got to the fierce chapter, which Hawley was referring to, it was like, you know, we felt that, you know, we felt that energy. But I would say the real catalyst behind why we wanted to do the book is talked about in Just Keep Going. And that chapter is really about perseverance and resilience. Those are the real traits or characteristics that are talked about in this chapter and in our stories. And we see examples of that every day. But as we did the interviews, it was interesting that most of the folks, actually all of the folks, came up against an obstacle or a roadblock or a no or a failure or a mistake or an injury. You know, for the, we see it all the time on and off the court where something gets in the way. And what we want to do is a catalyst to push through is to see beyond those roadblocks, to see those obstacles or mistakes or what looks like a failure as a learning experience and really a catalyst to help push you to the next level of success or getting closer to your goal. It could be just a minor step. And so many people stop at right before they have a push through moment, you know, right after they could get past it. And so for me, every chapter is amazing. That is really what stands out. And we see so many examples of that, even talking through, you know, putting our blinders on and focusing to get through or to push through our goal that we had. And we've been so focused on that goal, so passionate and driven about it, that we weren't going to let anything stop us. And that's what we're trying to translate and help our readers find within themselves, even in little increments or big increments, quite honestly.
Phenomenal. A little fun fact, Carey and Hawley, tell our hustlers, since you're both former athletes in volleyball, how tall are you, Hawley?
I'm almost 5'11".
There you go. And Carey?
I am almost 6 feet, but we're actually,
they're my bodyguards.
We're short for volleyball. And, you know, we've played with some amazing women, 6'2", 6'6". I played with a young woman who was 6'6" when I was in high school, you know, and standing tall and proud and being empowered because of that is a completely different perspective. You know, when you're around a whole bunch of other women that are like that. So
awesome. Well, everything is definitely energy and posture, and you can't fake that energy that comes out. And, you know, our true essence is being 3 years old. So we're just like these big children in adult bodies having a good time creating and doing our thing through the book and through finance. So tell us a little bit about, Hawley, if you may share with our viewers and fans, how you went from, let's say, starting off in business and earning your first substantial amount of money and then going to that next level. What was that hurdle, if you will, and that trait that you used to get you to that next level and you feel like, yes, I feel fulfilled, I did it, you know, I reached my goal?
So for me, when I got into this business, I knew I was going to be successful at it. I just knew it because it was so in my wheelhouse. It was all about helping people, working with teachers and coaches and people that I just absolutely love to work with. And I got to a place where I was successful. I was making 6 figures and, you know, I could have lived a very good life on what I was making. But I think when I started really looking at the business opportunity from teaching and training other people, I really saw the business model that was going to be even more successful for me. And that is because I've been always on a team and always coaching and teaching and training others. So for me, when I really looked at the business plan that we had laid out at Appreciation Financial, and really understand the compensation structure and how amazing the companies are that we partner with to provide the products that we provide, I really saw how I could really grow my life into being just this really successful life, to where I could leave a legacy for my children, to where I could leave a legacy for my children's children, in fact. And so building my business with other people in mind, and then teaching and training them how to become 6-figure earners. You know, I have a guy on my team this month. He's been with me for about 7 years. His paycheck for 1 week was over $50,000. And that is just so rewarding to have somebody on your team, on my team, that's successful enough to where he can work with somebody who has, you know, millions of dollars that they need to invest and put into a place that's going to help them with their retirement, but then that he can turn around and now take care of his family in a way that is totally different than he ever thought he would be able to. And now he's really fired up about teaching and training others how to do that as well. And so I love that part of the business. And I think that's why I am so successful, is because I love to teach and train others how to be successful in this business.
Very beautiful, Holly. And it's exactly the quote from Zig Ziglar: help as many people get what they want, and in turn you get what you want. And honestly, such a delight, and thank you for sharing that. And Carey, if you can share with our hustlers what what was your pivotal moment from that level that you went to the next level and you just felt fantastic because you achieved what you wanted.
Yeah, and I really have two things. And it started with something that is very simple, and that is being accountable to people even outside of yourself. And for me, it was being accountable to my family and just committing to them that I was going to do what I said I wanted to do. We talk about it in the book, having accountability partners. That could be a coach, it could be a manager, it could be a teammate. In this case, it was making commitments to my family. Seems so simple, but after I did that, I had even more drive to accomplish my goals and what I had set out for. So that was one. But also an aha moment came to me when I realized that part of it was in my own head with limiting beliefs. And so we hear a lot about that, making things realistic, or, I've never done that before. So how do you even go about doing it? And once I was able to really remove or identify that, and I still have beliefs every once in a while, you got to really check yourself and get back on track. But in the last 3 years, we have had monumental success in expanding into an industry, really working with business owners that I had not had that experience before. And it was through having a team and also having a mentor to bounce things off of, and also that had experienced the level of success that we as a team were trying to achieve. But the most important part was getting rid of or seeing beyond that limiting belief that I've never done this before, so how could I do that? And once I did that, it just, and Karch Karai even talked about it in our interview with him. It's like you see past a previous ceiling that you thought was there, but it really wasn't there. It was only really a belief you had in your head.
An illusion.
Those are really the two things that have catapulted me to the even higher levels of success than I ever dreamed imaginable.
Beautiful. Fantastic, Carey. I love it. And definitely monomaniacal focus, laser sharp focus is the key. And both you ladies have that. And let's talk about, and even the name of your company's True Wealth Advising, delicious words, and Appreciation Financial. I mean, I love, it's all about the words and the power of words and the attitude. So tell us, Hawley, what would you like as a takeaway? Let's say there was just one piece of advice that you would like the world to know, that takeaway that you feel in your heart, everybody should do this to feel and live a fulfilled life.
Well, I will say that appreciation is something that is throughout my business. I didn't come up with the name. I don't claim that of coming up with it. Our brilliant CEO did that. However, I think having gratitude and appreciation every day for the things that you have in your life. My mom was sick my whole life. She had multiple sclerosis. She went into a wheelchair when I was 14. And I think I need to be grateful for the fact that I have an able body. My mind is sharp. I have intelligence, and I can go out and create whatever I want to create. And so if anybody can take anything away, is to be grateful for the simple fact that you wake up every day and that you can participate in life to its fullest. be grateful that you have your God-given talents, and those talents are meant to be shared with others. And that appreciation that you have, that I have for life, is something that I hope, I give on to my kids and beyond, because without appreciation, it's really a lonely place to be.
Agreed. And I know that it seems like a vogue word, an attitude of gratitude and gratitude in general, but I agree with you, Hawley, because negativity can't coexist when you're operating from gratitude, where your heart explodes full of joy and gratitude and appreciation for all the beautiful things and privileges that we have in our lives, because we are truly, truly blessed. And Carey, if you can share with us, what is your, delicious word and something you live by?
Well, we tried to make the name of our company reflect the values that we have. And often wealth is not only about the dollars and cents. And I was having a conversation with a client about this yesterday. And it's really about having the mindset that you're always learning and growing, and that peace of mind that comes from, having faith and trust that things are going to work out well, and that you're going to be okay, and that you can work with and empower others. So true wealth came from being more about the state of mind, having a growth mindset, and true wealth outside of just the dollars and cents. So that's what I wanted to reflect. And then, it wasn't just about one person. It's about a team or a group. And it's interesting because our tagline is guidance throughout your journey. And the guidance and having people throughout our lives, and Hawley and I through this process have gotten a lot of guidance from you, Felicia, and your team. There are people out there that know how things work, or that have done monumental success before, or written books. Reach out, find out if there's something that you want to do. Surround yourself with some people that have done that and can provide guidance for you. And that's what we want to do here. And that's really part of the catalyst of Push Through.
Beautiful. And clearly you ladies are highly intelligent and also highly self-aware and coachable. And that's why you seek out wherever you may not know. You delegate, if you will, and focus on your forte. So thank you for sharing that. And so before we wrap up, Hawley and Carey, perhaps we could touch upon Push Through in the Daily Push Journal on what it is that you feel in terms of leaving a legacy that the world now more than ever, with this new uncertainty, if you will, in the world and the economic shift, what do we need now more than ever? An attitude of gratitude, focus, and what else, Hawley?
Well, I think as we talk about in our book, just pushing through whatever it is that is thrown your way to create that playbook for success, right? So it is not just about what's happening in the world, it's what's happening in your world. So in my world, what's happening is, I have a 7-year-old. He's going to virtual school right now, distance learning school. So how do I stay present in that? And how do I set him up to win in that situation, regardless of everything else that's going on around the world, or even in the world? So, I have very long ago did some personal growth. And one of the things that they are known for is world peace, one mind at a time. And when I looked at that statement that they had, I looked at what does my world look like and how can I have peace within my world that I live in? Not, I think world peace, that's great. I think it's a great idea. However, just me being peaceful within my world and having peace within the people that I'm around, the everyday come in contact with, how can I put that into practice in my life every day? I think that has helped me live a very successful life with a lot of opportunities and a lot of adventure. And so I think within our book, Push Through, like, what do you need to push through and not worry about what's going on in the world? Like, some people are really focused on, watching the news and being up to date on everything that's going on. I don't watch that stuff because it doesn't really affect me other than negatively. And so if I stay focused on what's going on in my world, how can I be successful? How can I help people? Who else can I train to be successful? How can I help my son figure out this virtual school situation? That's going to be enough to keep me entertained for more than 24 hours, I'm sure. So, I think the biggest thing that our book can help people find, and the daily push can help people find, is get into a routine that's going to be successful for you. It's not the same for everyone. What I do doesn't necessarily work for Carey or for Felicia or for anyone else, but what I do, I have figured out what does work for me, what helps me keep into my routine, what helps me be successful, and put that into a playbook that I can have success with.
Totally agree. I agree. A routine is important with a little room for spontaneity, but definitely a routine is important. I pretty much eat the same food. That's part of my routine. Might sound boring, but you know what? I find that I stay in shape when I just eat the same things. But anyway, we don't want to digress. So let's continue. Carey, what is your, delicious word, or the thing that you want the world to know right now in terms of this new economy, and what someone could focus on and put the blinders on so they can create greatness in their life and continue to do so?
Hawley mentioned earlier that, we've learned a lot about ourselves through this process and just through our journey. And part of that has been to have confidence in our voice and have our perspective heard. That's an inspiration for both of us to write this book, as well as to be on this show today, is that, make your voice known. And not just the words you speak, but the passion that you have, what your values are, and make that known. And I wrote down, when you asked the question, what do you, really the legacy here is, what are you going to do about it? Here's the reality of the situation. Here's what's going on in your community, around the world, some things that we can't really control. So what are you going to do about it? Some examples have been, sticking to our routine, getting back on track. My husband and I have been at the office every business day since the pandemic, started. So it's being here for our clients, for our family. What are you going to do? Innovate, find new ways of doing what you have to do based on the circumstances that we're faced with. We went completely online in just a few days, and we didn't even realize how impactful that readiness was before we did it. And we're making decisions differently. But we've been through these things in the past, changes, difficult times. And I think more than ever before, it is, what are you going to do about it, and not letting that stop you. And that's push through, right? Push through no matter really what it is. And we're going to share some really tough stories, as are some of the very amazing people that contributed to our book. And you can reflect on your own life instances when you've been through some tough things. So you got what it takes. What are you going to do about it now?
Beautiful. We all have that blueprint within us, Carey,
Yeah.
for greatness. The little acorn becomes the mighty oak tree, and we all have that within.
I love that.
So all our hardcore hustlers, take $100. You're going to spend it anyways on consumables and depreciables. So why not take that $100, go to pushthroughbook.com, buy yourself a journal, a book, and maybe a few others to give away, and start changing your life today. And just repetition is key, the mental bicep curl for the mind. So before we conclude, ladies, what would you like to leave our listeners and viewers with, Hawley?
Well, I just think that, what Carey had talked about really resonates right now with everything that's going on. Shifting, looking at something differently and figuring out a solution. I think that's paramount right now. Prior to this call, I had an interview with someone who got laid off, looking for a new position, getting evicted. There's stuff happening in the world, right? So it's really about your attitude and how you're going to take your next step. The worst thing that people can do right now is to stop moving forward. I always refer back to Disney movies because that's the season of my life that I'm in right now. And in Nemo, Dory says, just keep swimming. So that's what I want to leave the hustlers with today is regardless of what you're going through, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Love it, Hawley. And Carey, and yourself?
Hawley, we need to change the swimming to going, right? Just keep going, whatever it is you're doing right now. That's actually why we named the chapter that we did, the just keep going. There's so much that we want to say and do, and we want to build a community where people share these incredible stories. So I would encourage people to really come to the reading the book and interacting with the journal with an open heart, soul, and mind, just like we did when we started this journey, and that it evolves. And you are going to do some reflection and assessment. You're going to talk to some people that will give you feedback. You're going to make some commitments and challenge yourself just to have an open mind about the journey you're going to go on. And then share with us. We want to hear about the success stories. We need more songs to add to our playlist. We've got a playlist that we started that some songs that have really helped me push through, and Hawley and some of the other folks on our teams. So interact and make your voice heard. Share with us what you're doing about it. That's what I wanted to leave you with.
So beautiful. Well, there's no excuses, hustlers. You will find the time. These ladies have built an empire. They have a family to tend to. They work out and they do a bunch of other things, and they still found the time to write out a book and a journal for that matter. Of course, the Ultimate Publishing House did help them, but they made the time. So there's no excuses. Get, $100. Go to the Push Through website and invest in a book and find the time to read it and do the exercises, because you will be forever changed in an awesome way. And, connect with Carey and Hawley. They're truly amazing ladies, amazing humans, amazing souls. Check them out on LinkedIn. Check them out on pushthroughbook.com, and keep in touch. And we appreciate you, Hawley and Carey, for being part of the show. Thank you for your time. It's been truly, truly epic.
Thank you very much, Felicia. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you, Hardcore Hustlers, and appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. This is Felicia Pizzonia, wishing you the best and success.